This week, we are giving you the YouTube Masterclass for real estate agents. Every question that you have about YouTube as a realtor is answered today with the expert of all experts, Owen Video. Make sure you stay through the end because we start going rapid fire through some of the questions. We talk about shorts. Should you have them on the same YouTube channel or do you need a different channel? Thumbnails, titles, how do you choose them? How do you get them right? Should you have a channel? If you do, what should you be doing videos about? We cover all of this. Let's get into the episode right now. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Massive Agent Podcast, episode 308. I am your host, Dustin Brohm, here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Today, like I said, this is the masterclass on YouTube for real estate agents. There is a very specific formula that agents should follow. And when you do, YouTube can crush it for you. Now, you have to be consistent. It takes time. It's not like something you can do and get business 2 weeks from now. You might, but probably not. You certainly don't want to plan on that. But when you're consistent and you do things a specific way, you can get business results from YouTube. I've seen it with agents all across the country, all different walks of life, all different strengths and weaknesses, introverts, extroverts, you name it. I've seen agents crush it on YouTube. And most of them have learned it from Owen Video. And if they didn't learn it directly from him, they learned it from someone who was trained by Owen Video. So we just went right to the source. Owen is one of the best YouTube experts out there, and he's breaking it down today. And like I said, this is probably the longest. I believe this is the longest episode. So if you need to listen to it in chunks, go for it. But this is worth listening through to the end. I mean, let's be honest. Most of you guys listen at like 1.5 times speed anyways, or you should. Maybe not. It's funny. I did a poll on social a while ago about podcast listening. Some people listen at 2x speed. Some people are like, no, I can't listen more than 1. I personally listen at 1.4 on Pocket Casts. That's how I listen to my podcasts. 1.4 speed is perfect. Regardless, this is an episode you're going to want to consume all the way through. We don't just rehash. We don't just reword shit over and over. We don't just talk about the same stuff. It's just one question after another, digging deep, giving context. You should walk away today being crystal clear on everything you need to be successful on YouTube as a real estate agent. And that's why we just kept going. I wanted to make sure that no question was unanswered. And this is awesome. And there's much more to come from Owen and myself. We actually live here in Salt Lake City, and we're going to be doing some stuff together. We're going to be doing some collaborations. If I'm being honest and transparent, I was absolutely fired up and refocused and recommitted to doing YouTube in a serious way after this conversation. I gained some clarity on a few things that I was missing, and it's got me going. So YouTube, I am recommitting to for real. And I'm going to be getting Owen's help. He's going to be guiding me through it as my coach, as my mentor. So here it is for free for you guys. Great episode. Before we get into that with Owen Video, there's 2 tools that you need in your tool belt. With all the uncertainty in the real estate market, all of the changes happening in our profession, and all the confusion that consumers have, right? You're confused. Most agents are super confused. We don't know what's happening with commission, with what changes are going to happen with that. Is the way we get paid going to change? Is the way we do business going to change? All that stuff, right? Well, here's what I know for goddamn sure, that people will still need and want to buy and sell real estate, and they're going to need help doing it. That's not going to change. So if you're worried that you're not going to have a job or whatever, stop it. Stop it. The shitty agents, the unserious agents, they're going to go somewhere else. They're not going to be able to survive. But if you take this shit seriously, and if you make a decision right now to thrive in spite of what everyone else is fearing, and thrive because of it, because of the opportunity that it creates, you can do so well. Great agents, I believe, will be even more valued and more in demand than before because of everything happening right now. But regardless, there's 2 tools that you need, okay? 2 tools you need in spite of all that are just going to make your job easier, help you become the knowledge broker in your town, be the real estate advisor that your clients need. You need Keeping Current Matters, because they do all the research. They tell you what's happening with the market, what it all means, what it means to your sellers, what it means to your buyers, and how to communicate to them. You need Keeping Current Matters. Go to trykcm.com/BAM to try it. And then you need BAMX, the community of agents. you need to be around agents who are doing big things, who are not pessimistic, who are excited, who are taking action, and who are growing. That's who you need to spend the majority of your time with in this environment. Otherwise, the fear and the headlines and the pessimism is going to get you. It just is. If you don't put good shit into your brain, all the negative stuff by default will get to you, and you will start to doubt your career in this industry. You'll start to doubt your future. You'll start to doubt your capabilities. You'll start to doubt whether or not you should even be an agent anymore. So you need to be around great agents who are doing big shit. And BAMX is definitely the community for that. Go to massiveagentpodcast.com/BAMX. Make sure that in checkout, you use code MASSIVE and get yourself a discount for as little as $10 a month. You could be part of this. It's an incredible value. So keeping current matters, BAMX, you need those tools in your tool belt. Now, let's get into this masterclass on YouTube with Owen Video, the master himself. Let's go. All right, guys, I'm excited for this one. I'm here with Owen Video. We're talking YouTube. Owen is someone that I think we first connected on Snapchat like years ago, like 2016, 17.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that. We made big wins on Snapchat. That was how long ago? But I definitely had a lot of viral hits on Snapchat. And then I made videos about how to go viral on Snapchat, and those went viral on YouTube. My sales coach, I have a sales coach, sales mentor. I met him on Snapchat too years ago. So I love seeing the results of years ago, like still producing fruit.
Absolutely. Were you inspired by Gary Vee to get on there?
We were all kind of moving. I like Gary Vee, met him multiple times. I've introduced him on stage. I MC the biggest video YouTube conference in the country. It's called Vid Summit. Gary Vee was the speaker, and so I've been able to spend a little bit of extra time with him. And I love the guy. I've never been a real fan of the content per se.
Not for you.
But let's not pretend that he wasn't influential. At that time there were very few leaders telling us where to move. And I was like, if there's a platform, this is big. If there's a platform that I can make wins on today, then I don't care if it's going to last into the future. So Threads came out. I'm like, there's no wins there. Clubhouse came out. I dabbed my toe in within 1 day. Within like 1 day, I had something like 5,000 followers. But after spending a day on the platform, it's like, this is not going anywhere. I was right about that. But Snapchat was that platform. Gary Vee's like, hey, you should get on this platform. And I'm like, you're an investor in the platform. Of course you're going to tell me to do that. But it actually had legs. And I love, personally, that I made wins on that platform. And so did some of our clientele at that time. But we use those wins, even though Snap is not like, I'm not on it at all anymore.
Same.
But those gains I made there, I've taken with. They followed me to other platforms. So just because, people say I don't want to do like point and dance videos for my business. And I get that. Real estate agents, a little bit more mature than that. There's some value. But I guarantee you there's real estate agents listening to this right now that made gains with that TikTok trend. You know what I mean? So like make gains where you can make gains. It doesn't matter if it's going to last forever, right? You're going to take those people with you wherever you go. That's what real online leadership is.
I love that. I brought you on to talk about YouTube. We're talking Snapchat though, and this is gold though because this is the origin story, and you're so right, dude. I don't even have Snapchat on my phone anymore. Me neither. Let me correct that. I think my 6-year-old daughter, I think I put it back on just so she can use the filters every once in a while, the lenses.
Yeah.
But I remember Gary Vee, two things that he told me to do, and I did it. This was like my first entrance into digital marketing. He's like, get on Snapchat and then write an article for an industry publication in your field talking about why you're doing it. And so I did those two things. And Snapchat was such a paradigm shift back then, right? Because they invented the story concept that didn't exist elsewhere at the time.
Yeah.
And so, it felt like it was a real thing. And then in hindsight, so many of my really close friends and people that I know in the industry and outside the industry, like yourself, I met originally on Snapchat. Like it's crazy. It's wild. But anyhow.
Yeah. And the same is true for other platforms. Like we have 250,000 followers on TikTok. And that was sort of just an exercise. When TikTok came out, I was kind of like, watch me crush this platform right now. And we did very well doing humor videos, but not a lot of money in it. So we stepped back. We've been watching for the last year, and now we're ready. So in 2024, like TikTok is back on our radar. We just started. I think it's called. It's for real estate agents. It's about real estate video and how to develop your message on video. And we're going to do some fun stuff there. There's going to be some humor in it, but there's value in kind of like looking at these other platforms, because by and large, I am a YouTube guy, right? But I'm not going to say, I don't ignore TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, right? I'm not on all of them, but my point is that you find the platforms that you're big on, and YouTube becomes your Netflix. Okay, YouTube is where your next season comes out, and then you are advertising that season on your social media channels. So having YouTube in its proper position, which is at the top of your content pile, okay? The top level content is ultimately it's your YouTube show, right? If it's you've got a podcast, I would say YouTube podcast. We need to add video to this and make sure it's going out on a weekly basis, that sort of thing. And now on Facebook, it's not just repurposing, but it's also like letting people know there's this show that I do on YouTube, and you're converting your followers there into subscribers over there, where they'll follow you for a lot longer than they will on social media. So putting YouTube in its right place, top of the pile, it also fills up your social media marketing. So now that's more outsourceable, scalable, movable, and you're doing more of what you love, which is buying and selling real estate.
I love it, dude. So the reason that I wanted to have you on, first off, you're prolific with YouTube, prolific. And I watch your stuff and I get inspiration from how you do thumbnails and like the colors you choose and camera angles, all the stuff, right? Like I'm looking at how you do things, but I also see so many real estate agents absolutely crush it with sales, not just follower count or subscribers, but literal actual sales by doing YouTube a very specific way. I assume you're seeing the same thing. What are those agents doing?
Yeah, real estate agents have been our primary customer for the last 13 years. And this is all I've ever done, right? For the last 13 years, I've been helping real estate agents and other financial professionals, typically 7- and 8-figure companies, launch YouTube channels that do two big things. They get thousands and thousands of views, and those viewers turn into revenue, right? Those viewers actually want to be a part of your program. So, some of these guys that maybe they have a wood arts and crafts channel, or maybe they do basketball tips after they come home from work. That's not really who we work with, right? We work with people who typically they've already been successful at business to some degree, and now we're looking to scale and grow on YouTube. And that, again, it's two big goals. It's like you want to make videos that get views. And then the second part of that is you need to have a system to turn those viewers into some type of buyer, someone who would transact real estate with you in some degree. So that's going to come into like list building. And that's the number one big mistake I see real estate agents making, is that you're not actually building a following that values you. You are trying to sell homes. You are trying to connect with buyers. And I get that. But what happens is you start making these videos about like, market rates in Dallas, Texas fall by 19%. Well, you and 17 billion other guys are making those video titles, right? Now, there's value in market updates, and this is like the number one video that causes people to call a real estate agent in our program is the market update video. But that's in context with a press pulse strategy that includes multiple content topics that you're an expert on. We call this the silo strategy, okay? And this is a big part of I won't mention names, but like there's real estate agents that are now teaching YouTube, which I think is great. I've trained most of them. Like so many of them have been through my program.
Nice.
But you're as a real estate agent, you want to kind of think about the audience that you're trying to reach like a dartboard. Okay, you ever play darts?
Yep.
Truly, have you?
Yeah, like twice.
Here's why. Like you play cricket, right? And the goal is not a bullseye every time. right? You play with your kids, and the kid wants to hit a bullseye every time.
Mm-hmm.
But in cricket, you want to hit the 20 3 times. And you want to hit the 17 3 times. And you want to hit the 5 3 times. And you want to hit the 2 3. You want to dominate the dartboard. This is exactly how YouTube viewership works, right? Where every like triangle sliver of that dartboard is a buyer demographic, right? Or a seller demographic. It's a real estate. It's not someone who's interested in transacting real estate today. It's someone who will be or has been. And it's like that continuum. Like your dartboard is your target buyer plus 3 years, minus 3 years, if you will. So when you're making videos, you want to create silos. We typically recommend like 4 silos where you're becoming an expert on 4 different topics. One of them is maybe your town, right? So it's this neighborhood versus that neighborhood. I've had clients do like travel style videos, like best burgers in my town or best like brunches in my town. These are also good videos. You want to become an expert in your town, mayor of your town. That's like one silo of videos potentially. But you also need to have another silo of videos, and perhaps that is like current events and trending. And this is a big mistake I see real estate agents making, is that you're not like leveraging. You don't want to get political. You don't want to get controversial. It's the wrong idea. Now, I'm not saying wear a Trump flag on your channel unless you are trying to bring in that type of buyer. And I have an example of that, a client that sells land, fishing land, hunting land, not your average real estate agent, but like he wanted to wear that this is what I stand for on his channel. And that's great for his channel. But you don't always have to be so brash about it. What you do need is you do need to have like an opinion on something, right? You do not sell everybody. Agents love to say this. Who's your client? Everybody's my client, dog. Everybody's my client, right? Like I could sell rich people. I could sell old people.
And
reality is shit. Most of us, because you don't know. And that's how you know, is because you're not really, once you have a good book of business, you're like, man, most of my clients are like Gen Xers, almost empty nesters. You develop this buyer IQ, and that's who you're targeting. So you need to be thinking about serving that person. Like we have a real estate agent in Austin, Texas, that it's like she's a little bit more conservative than the average. Like when you think of Austin, and she focused on families coming to Austin. Families coming to Austin means you're looking for schools, you're looking for playgrounds, you're looking for churches, right? And so her content centered on that, right? You've got to pick out, we've had other clients that are like, I'm experts in like luxury homes, gated communities. So number one is an expert on your town. And then maybe another silo is sort of like niche specific. You're talking about pool-based communities. You're talking about condos. You're talking about Airbnb properties. Here's a big piece of where agents miss out is you're only talking to like your traditional referral. Right? Your traditional sort of like, and not looking at real estate investors. Like you guys should be attracting, depending on where you are, like, especially if you're in flyover states, like that's a great place to sell Airbnb property. We've had clients work in tiny homes and manufactured homes, and watching that turn into more of a referral business than actually a real estate business. So you've got to have topics on which you are dominating the marketplace in your area, but you also need topics that are going to reach 100,000 people, those wider national topics. Like Biden does X, here's how it affects Omaha housing. Or like Omaha, Biden speaks, and I'm not like trying to get anti-Biden. Like I could get on, I'm not like going home like bragging to my international friends about who my president is. That's for sure. Like I keep that on the DL.
Yeah, none of us
But
do.
you don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to be this like anti, you have to be anti. You just say White House. White House does this, or economy does this. My town, home prices sink. Or something like that. You're connecting your business to like a national news event that will cause people to say, my real estate agent keeps me, up to date on national news events and how it affects my home value. The person you sold a house to 2 years ago is a perfect person for you to be developing a YouTube audience with. That is a boatload of referrals. And let me tell you something. I don't know. Referrals are, I've bought a few houses in my life as well. And like, I never used my first realtor again because he never reached me where I was at ever. I got these little mailers in the mail with his little picture on them, you know, but I never saw him on social media. Never saw him on YouTube. Right. And that's where I made my second and third hires from. So you've got to be engaged with these people with content that's relevant to their lives right now. If you're constantly selling a home or you're only uploading listing videos, please, I could talk about listing videos, but I want to answer your question. Like, that's what they're doing, right? They're following a blueprint. What's part of that blueprint is you've got to have like 4 content pillars that you're becoming an expert in, 5 videos in each pillar for a total of like 20 videos over the course of a quarter. I mean, or maybe 6 weeks. Depends on how fast you can create videos. But if you're like a one-trick pony, not even Mr. Beast does that. Even Mr. Beast has, like right now, Mr. Beast is doing a series on Africa. He went to Africa, you know, probably 3 months ago.
Yeah.
The videos are just coming out today, but they're all on Africa. Why? It's a silo. So what are your silos, right? Like, that's what you want to think about. And then build a plan that hits every level of that dartboard so that you're the dominant voice in your field.
Okay. So topic selection is obviously key. Okay. A follow-up question to creating these 20 videos, right? Or these 25 videos in a quarter. Are you doing them as fast as you can and publishing them as you go? Or are you waiting to do it once a week? Or does the posting cadence matter?
Okay. Great question. So you're talking like a production schedule. I hear this all the time, or a publication schedule. So it's like, oh, I want to do 2 videos a week plus 3 reels a week. Okay, but you know, we can't produce a single Hershey bar until we've developed a conveyor belt for making Hershey bars, right? And I use Hershey as an example because he was one of the founding fathers of conveyor belt technology. Henry Ford being the most obvious, but Heinz Ketchup also a big player in like mass market production. So before you start thinking about a publication schedule, you want to think about a production schedule and having a film day. You need to have a film day that's once a week or every other week, for example, right? So it's like Friday from 10 a.m. to noon, I'm filming my videos. And maybe you're filming them at a location, maybe you're at your desk, like that's all part of your plan. But you're going to first stockpile somewhere between 5 and 10 videos that you've produced according to a schedule, a conveyor belt. So if you've got a Friday 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., that's your film date. Now you need a content preparation date that's in your calendars. Let's say that's Monday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., 1 hour with your VA, or maybe it's just by yourself, like depends on the size of your organization. But like Monday at 10 a.m., you're going to plan your film day on Friday. So you're thinking, okay, it's Monday at 10 a.m. We have a whole checklist for this, but like what are the trending topics in my area? Like what are 2 videos that you could make on Friday plus 3 shorts? And that becomes sort of your agenda. You're going to plan out 2 videos and 3 shorts. Between Monday and Friday, you're thinking about them. You're kind of maturing them as you go from appointment to appointment. Like we teach our clients to jot it down in notes. So like, you know, you plan on Monday what you're doing. Between Monday and Friday, you're adding some meat and bones to it so that when Friday you sit down to do your videos, you basically have a script in front of you and you're working with topics that you felt were good. So that's more important than a publication schedule because how many videos you produce will determine how many videos you can output. But if you start with this goal of like 2 per week, but then you have no system for recording 2 per week, much less a system for coming up with ideas that anyone would want to watch twice a week. And this is where agents get in trouble, is that we go for more over better. This is not YouTube, guys. YouTube 5 years ago was more over better because no one was on YouTube. What happened? YouTube blew up. And everybody, your grandfather is on YouTube. There is some of you watching right now. You have an aunt who sews crochet blankets and she's on YouTube. And she's probably got 10,000 subs. You know? So we got to fight harder. Mark Rober. You know this guy? You heard of Mark Rober?
Definitely. So do my kids.
Okay. All right. Good. Right. So Mark Rober makes inventions. One video a month. That one video, 20 million views.
Wow.
So why are you killing yourself over like, oh, I got to get like 17 videos out? Why? That are garbage? Think of this analogy, everybody. Think about this. Your YouTube channel is a hot air balloon. And every video is either a sandbag or a blast of hot air. It's either raising you up or it's taking you down. And what you want to see over 90 days is net positive, right? So we upload 25 videos in 90 days with the expectation that 20% of those videos will go viral. Now, if you follow my program, it will go viral. I have 102 different referrals or stories on how this works from every different real estate agent. Whether you're like a transactional agent in Prosper, Texas, selling land. I've got investment guys. It works if you work it, right? So what we're big believers in is you're a busy real estate agent, in some cases a broker, maybe. You don't have time to become like this YouTube expert. So you need to kind of like do what works and nothing else. Making 10, 15 videos a week does not work. Taking your damn speech and repurposing it does not work, right? What works? Offering something to the community nobody else has. What if you published a video every Monday and Wednesday at noon and you called it your digital lunch and learn? And you start developing this culture of like bringing people to your channel at noon. So it's like the moms and dads in your neighborhood, the people at your chamber of commerce, people that are actually going to buy a house from you, they get into this like rhythm of like it's Monday, Wednesdays, lunchtime real estate tip. Like, I'm going to own this town one day. Like that's why people watch you. Other people, they're funny, right? Like maybe they're a real estate agent and they're kind of funny in their videos. Other people I've seen will drink a glass of wine while they're doing. That's never sustainable, by the way. Those people always fall off the wagon. But you could do that for a quarter, right? You got to do a thing in your video that makes people want to come in and see it. And that's the trick.
Is one of those ways a lot of scene changes? You know, you look at Mr. Beast or any of these younger YouTubers, right? Ninja Kids or whatever. Yeah. And it seems they change the scene or the camera angle like every couple seconds, right? Does an informational video that a real estate agent does, do they also need scene changes and B-roll and all that stuff?
Love that question, man. And I love that you brought up Ninja Kids because you and I are local and like we're in the same city. And Ninja Kids are just a block away. And they've got these gyms they're opening up, and they got a jiu-jitsu thing.
Brilliant.
And, we know that family, and they're great people. So look, your target viewer is everything. Okay, think about your dartboard. Now, we all have different dartboards. Don't get me wrong. Like sometimes, like Dustin, you and I, our dartboards interconnect to a certain degree. Yeah. Because you're training and nurturing real estate agents, and I'm training and nurturing real estate agents. But largely, our markets have different needs. There's different reasons why they're following us, right? Every one of you is going to have like target viewer run over with somebody else. But I want you to think about your audience is a dartboard, and someone else's audience is someone else's dartboard. There's time for one viewer to watch 10 or 15 different creators. So I don't want you to think of like your marketplace as people in your city, okay? It's not. That's too small. That's a segment of the dartboard. You with me?
Totally.
Your dartboard is largely anyone interested in real estate news. Largely, okay? Now, we could get into that because there are certain conversations you're not going to have. You're not going to have a conversation with a first-time home buyer, right? That helps us understand who the dartboard is. So the people I'm reaching already own a home, and they're interested in real estate, right? Typically, people that already own a home, like they're likely to be more interested in real estate than the average person. Now, if those people are investing. What agents do is we make what we sell our audience, and that's not it, right? Your target buyer seller is you're focusing on that person plus 3 years, minus 3 years. So what was that person interested in 3 years before they were before they were a preferred buyer, right? Those are the topics you need to cover, right? That target buyer, what's going to be his interest in the next 3 years? Those are going to be your target audience as well. So you need to have a good understanding of who your audience is as a whole, right? My audience is largely let's say 50 to 65. They own a home already, executive type job, white collar type job, and they have kids that are grown or almost grown, right? So now your content editing should reflect the viewing preferences of that audience. So my long ass answer for you is no. The Ninja Kids edit that way because they're editing to kids, and Mr. Beast is the same way. Like, I introduced Preston Plays at Vid Summit, and he said, "Do not introduce me as your child's favorite YouTuber." He's like, "I am a professional," and he is a professional. He's excellent, right? But I get that. Like, these are adults that have built these huge empires, marketing to kids. We are marketing largely. Like, I'm marketing to Gen X, millennials, some boomers, although boomers is not really, we don't get a ton of that here. It's like Gen X and millennials is what's coming into my program. They're already making 7 to 8 figures, revenue top line at the company. So that affects the way that I present to them, right? And it should affect the way you present to your viewers. Now, that being said, your videos should follow an editing model that was not invented by you, okay? So when we watch a sitcom, right? Like, I go back to Seinfeld or The Office is a great example, right? Every episode of The Office had the same process, right? It was a cold opening. Remember the parkour episode, right? Like, the show starts and they're doing parkour in the office, right? Parkour! They're making a big mess out of the office. Andy eventually falls into the trash can, and the show music starts. That's part 2, right? So the cold opening of a sitcom is like a joke designed to get your attention, and then the show music starts as if to say, the show is now starting. If we didn't get your attention with the joke, now the show's starting, and then you've got your show and you've got your beginning, middle, end of the show. We could go into that as well, but let's just keep it those 2 things. So when you're making a video and you're editing it, your opening hook, your opening joke, it doesn't need to be a joke, but you're hooking them, right? That whole thing about like parkour had very little to do with the rest of the episode. And you need to write a hook that's going to get people interested in your topic. Oftentimes, if you want to do a video, and this has been a good video for our agents lately, is like what $200,000 can get you in Kentucky, or, what $300,000 buys in Ohio, whatever. You want to open up that video, not with your face. Nobody cares about your face, right? You want to open up with visuals that the audience will emotionally connect to. Going back to the Biden example, like if your audience are not like part of the 80 million Biden voters, then use a picture of Biden's face, play dark music, and say, we have had so much bad news regarding real estate prices this quarter. And you just like show a picture of, Biden, and then maybe the White House, maybe some New York Times, a snapshot of the New York Times, something like this. We call this voiceover B-roll.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you're structuring your video like a video newsreel. That's what I like. Imagine it's on Entertainment Tonight. What would that look like? Ironically enough, John Tesh was a client of mine for a long time, but that was after Entertainment Tonight. But my point is, you do need to meet your audience visually, what they're used to. And I recommend not starting with your face because nobody cares. Instead, start with images that they'll love. What's another example? When I'm searching for houses, I like pictures of houses. So start your video with pictures of beautiful houses that are either in the MLS or they're just you're in your neighborhood or whatever. And you're showing these pictures of houses, house 1, house 2, house 3, house 4. And the voiceover is every single one of these houses is something. But notice how I'm talking the same pace that the image is changing. So it's like every one of these houses is totally affordable and it's on the market, but now it's the shots on you. But only certain buyers will even be able to pick up these types of deals. I'm going to show you some of the best investment opportunities that you will not find out about. And I'm going to show you how to find out about them in the future so that when the right time is for you to buy, you have the inside scoop. My name is Owen. Welcome to the channel where we show you the insides of Omaha, Nebraska. And let's go to the first image. You know what I mean? And you're just kind of showing MLS listings or whatever, but I'm hooking the viewer with images they'll like and a tease that in the end is going to result in call me or join my email list if you want to know more about this, right? So does that make sense, or did I just get really weird?
No, you elaborated so much more than I thought you would in such a good way, because I'm envisioning like, okay, if I'm going to do a video on a certain topic, like for myself, like, okay, Zillow just bought Follow Up Boss. Follow Up Boss is like the biggest, most prominent, most used CRM in the industry. Big news, right? $500 million purchase. And like,
and people hate Zillow. So now it's like the software they loved is with the software they hate. And it's like this, but anyway, yes, go ahead.
Yes, there's a lot of confusion happening right now. So, originally I would have just started out with my face. Here's what happened, right? Like have a hook. Here's what happened, but it would be my face. Then I'd go to the little pre-made intro thing, and then I'd get into it. But what you did is gets me thinking, okay, here's some screenshots of the news from different websites, right? And then here's the Zillow headquarters, and then like whatever, right? With my voiceover. That I like that. And I wouldn't have thought to do that.
You just film it. You film it the same way, right? You're still sitting in front of your camera. Don't be turned off by voiceover. It doesn't mean you need a microphone, a sound studio. You're just filming it the way you would normally film it. But then in editing, you just add different images on top of your face.
Yes.
So that they and then there is a time where it does come to your face, and that's usually at the turning point of the hook, right? Where it's like, but today I'm going to show you, you know. Something that you have to remember is that the thing you want to talk about, right? We work with our clients a lot on gut content. You have to be in a place where you know what's happening in your industry and you've made enough videos to where you know if you make a video about X, it's going to do well. To where you could actually predict, I think this video will get 1,000 views in 24 hours, right? Which is our lowball standard. Our lowball standard in our program is every video you upload gets 1,000 views minimum. Then we move to 10,000, right? And so now you got to be thinking in terms of a bigger audience. Okay, I got some topics that can appeal to a 1,000, but now I got to get topics that appeal to a 10,000, right? How do we do that? So when you're deciding on, like, you want to be in this place where you know what video will do well. And the only way to do that is to upload videos, try something different in each video. Right now, what we do is we've built out sort of a framework, and I'm happy to go through some of that with you. Right, we've built out a framework that'll enhance your chances. One of those things is a voiceover B-roll hook, right? Not opening up on your face, opening up instead on images that cause the viewer to be interested. That's the type of thing that will work well. So the skill set for a real estate agent is like this. Imagine like a hill, right? You want to make a video about blank, like fill in the blank for me, right? So you want to make a video about Zillow and Follow Up Boss, okay? Most agents think that's the bottom of the hill. And now you're going to take the viewer on a journey. No. Follow Up Boss Zillow is at the top of the hill. And now you got to start your video and build up to that main point and then take them back down. So the thing that you want to say in your video actually happens near the middle, not the beginning. So taking your example, you're like, so I would open up the video and I would tell them what happened. No, that's not what I would do. What I would coach you to do is I would make a video called Follow-Up Boss Just Screwed 3,124 Real Estate Agents. Or Follow-Up Boss Just Gave Us the Finger. Maybe that's the title. And I'm trying to be inflammatory here.
Yeah.
And then you open up with like a news article that's like Follow-Up Boss merges. And it's like you may, and there's other images too. It's images of Follow-Up Boss and the back-end software and just screenshots from their website and from Google Images. P.S. I majored in this stuff. Yes, you can use those images in your video. There's no Hollywood legality around. Can I use a picture of their software from Google Images? Yes, of course you can. What you can't do is say, this is my software and I will take your money to subscribe to it, right? Like that's where copyright law comes in. But we're educational creators, and so we're allowed to use basically anything.
Is that fair use? Is that what it's called?
Yes, and I've been in this game for 13 years. I've never once had a client sued, taken to court, warned. It's never happened, right? But I feel like a lot of agents, like we get scared of like, oh, can I use that? Or, you know, I worked with Karen Carr. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah.
Amazing creator. Love her. And she's actually from out this way as well, which is kind of neat. But her videos weren't popping when she came to me. She had 3,000 subs when she came to me. By the time she left, she had 10,000 subs and had made 6 figures in transactions from clients that came in from YouTube. One of our just biggest success stories. The thing that made all the difference was she did a video about Gary Vee, right? And she was so nervous that she didn't want to talk about Gary Vee, first of all. I don't really like Gary Vee. And I'm like, guess what? Thousands of agents don't like Gary Vee. Like, step into it, right? But she's also worried about using clips of him. Well, we got her through that. She published the video, #1 video on her channel of all time, until we made the follow-up, which was about Grant Cardone. And then after we did Grant Cardone, we did Ryan Serhant. And that video beat the Grant Cardone. So this goes back to that binge-watchable silo of videos. She decided to make a silo, a set of videos that would comment on other, like, real estate well-knowns, right? And then she positioned that in a way that showed the audience visual. See, the audience doesn't know her, but they know Gary Vee. So now they're looking at Gary Vee's face when they first log in. They go, I'd like to hear more about this, right? And this is the big thing you guys need to learn is like a talking head video. You asked me about multiple scenes. A talking head video is fine. You break it up with B-roll that is not stock footage, okay? Do not use stock footage of a family like shaking hands.
Right. Or for sale sign in front of a fucking house.
Oh, here's the keys that I'm putting into your hand, please. It's fodder, dude. Like everybody sees that. Yeah. What do you use? You use B-roll from your phone. You use images from your phone. You make a new lifestyle of like you're going to take 10 photos at every event you go to. And when you make a video, you pull photos from your Chamber of Commerce call, from maybe an open house that you did. Like people love to see that. Now, is it okay if you film some at your desk and some in your car? Absolutely. You could make it a thing. Like if you're the type of person that wants to film in multiple locations, please do that. It'll make your videos better. An example of that is, what if you started every video like Mr. Rogers, right? Where it's like, you know how he like comes, he changes his jacket and like changes his shoes. What if that was your shtick? What if you entered every video taking your tie off? All right, guys, I just got out of a crazy day at real estate. I'm not sure if you saw what they did. Follow-up boss joined a deal with the devil. You're taking off your tie. You're pouring yourself like a little glass of wine, and you're like, well, look, I've just got just enough time. I'm going to fill you guys in on this right now. Let's talk about what happened. And you talk about the video. You're showing B-roll. You're showing clips. It's a 5-minute video, guys. And then the video ends with you in your car. You're putting on your seatbelt, you're holding your mobile phone, and you're like, well, look, here's my big takeaway from this. I believe you should da-da-da-da, moral of the story, end the video there. I'll see you guys next week. And that's your shtick, right? Your shtick is like, I'm going home. I wanted to talk to you before I go home. Here's what I picked up today. My goal is to make you a real estate expert so that when the next transaction pops up that will make your family wealthy, you're on top of it. So I'm going to have a cup of tea before I head home, but here's the news today, blah, 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 blah. You get where I'm going with that? Like, have some fun with it. Absolutely. Not every video needs to be Mr. Polly Professional, Mr. Peter Professional. Like,
and nobody connects with the evening news anchor, right? That's perfectly polished, and no one connects with Stone Phillips.
Keep your blurbs in. Like, if you mess up, like, find a way to put it in the video.
Yes. Excellent. Okay. So that also, there's a few questions that I wrote down that I get asked all the time. There's like three or four questions I get asked by agents all the time. And I have these myself.
I'll answer faster because I know like I'm in ketosis mode, bro. I've been fasting for like 14 hours. I feel great. I'm drinking coffee. I'm like, throw it at me, dog.
Let's go. No, I appreciate the context because you answered a lot of questions in that context, but let's get to some specific questions. The length of the video in general, I know it depends on the video and everything, but should you go for longer versus shorter?
Yeah, like your goal for those of you starting out, okay, you're under 1,000, you're under 1,000 subs. You have no data, right? But you're like, man, I belong on YouTube. Your goal is, I'm going to say a 5-minute video, and you're going to do 10, 15 videos at 5 minutes or close to it. To see what percentage of 5 minutes you can capture a viewer. YouTube will let you know, right? And this is what we call watch time. It is the most important metric to know when you're beginning on YouTube. I mean, when I say beginning, up until 10,000 subscribers, like you're looking at watch time. Why? Because everyone looks at views to feed your ego. You want to have a big ego in Christmas? Start making videos in summer, right? Here's what you're doing. You're doing 5-minute videos and you're testing it. I'm getting 30% of 5 minutes. So I need to improve my 5-minute formula to get to like, I would say between 50 and 60% watch time. When you get to 50 and 60% watch time, start making 10-minute videos. Okay? But if you, look, most real estate agents, you tell them to make a 10-minute video, I am either going to see the most boring video I've ever seen, or I'm going to see you repeating yourself.
Yes.
And the moment you repeat yourself, like my editor has a top line rule, cut out every repeat unless I say the words, let me repeat that, right? It's like, so I should never hear myself say the same thing twice. If they missed it, they can rewind it, and that only helps you. But most real estate agents will start to do a 5-minute video and realize they only gave me a minute and a half. Realize they only gave me 3 minutes. So if that's you, what I would work on is shorts. I would work on building out shorts that are 35 to 45 seconds and building out your message there. I would also, consider this. There are other YouTubers, coaches, that will tell you 15-minute videos because they make videos where they're baking cookies or dumping paint off a bridge or drawing a picture of SpongeBob with their child, right? It is not the same as what we do.
Right.
Okay, we're business professionals. And our targets, our people, they got soccer practice, they got church, they got choir, they got drama, they got theater. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get in it. You got to capture their time. So work on 5 minutes, but check this out. Play with shorts and play with a 3-minute series, right? Like everything you need to know about Ohio in 3 minutes or less. And every video is a fact about Ohio that you get from frickin' Wikipedia, man. It's like, Ohio is the largest state in the blah, blah, blah with over da-da-da-da-da-da. Did you know that? Who do you know in Ohio? Share and subscribe this video for more. Every kid in the country researching Ohio for their 3rd grade project, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to watch that video. Are those real estate targets? No. What you're doing is growing your channel and you're learning how to talk on video. This is a big part of what I do. I tell people like my experience, like Carlos runs the company, right? Like Carlos runs the execution. How to upload, how to publish, blah, blah, blah. I work with my clients on how to make eye contact with the camera, how to raise your voice at the right time and then bring it down, right? We teach the media skills that made Barack Obama and Donald Trump global leaders. And that's where I think a lot of real estate, they think they can get on camera and just like spit out factual data and people will respond to it. They won't. You've got to put that into a tone that works. So I told you I wouldn't answer long.
No, I so appreciate that answer, Owen, because it's not as simple as how long should it be, right? It depends on the person, depends on their skill set, depends if they're concise or not. It depends on a million different things. So I think that context was needed. In general, though, as long as you follow, I love that formula you laid out. Start with short, make sure that you can keep watch time and then extend it. Following that, you want it to be longer, right? Because then people are staying on YouTube longer.
Yeah. YouTube rewards stickiness, right? So if you got a 5-minute video and you're keeping attention for 30% of that video, that's a minute and change.
Yeah.
You're an average creator at that point, and that's okay. 10%, you're below average. So YouTube, here's why watch time matters. Because it's very hard to publish one video and get 40,000 views on it. It's very hard to do. It's been done. The first video I ever uploaded to YouTube got 20,000 views on it. And you duplicate it rarely. You want to think of this as, you want to create videos that are net positive watch time, which means the viewers, maybe they watched 1:30 on video 1, video 2, they watched 2 minutes. Video 3, they're watching 2.5 minutes. Like, you want to see your watch time increase. And what happens is this: the more your watch time increases, the more your views will increase. It is a law of YouTube. So don't watch the views. Look at the watch time. Here's what I mean. You publish a video. YouTube gives you 3 stats within 3 hours. They give you your data really quickly. I was just on a call with a client, tax liens indeed, so not exactly real estate, but in real estate. They 40,000 subs. Never look at their analytics.
Wow.
So you can go far without looking at your analytics, but you want to go far fast, look at your analytics. You publish a video, you got 100 views, but your watch time is 67%. Leave that video alone. That video will do just fine. YouTube sends out your video in like a couple different waves. The first wave is your current subscribers or whoever it thinks you're trying to target, but it's only going to hit 1,000 of them. Based on the watch time, they'll send it out to another 5,000, right? Based on the watch time, they'll send it out to 10,000. Now, don't quote me on these numbers, but the visual is correct.
Yeah.
You have to prove your worth to YouTube. So you focus on watch time, your channel will grow. You'll focus on views, you'll start drinking.
Yeah.
I kid you not. Like, you'll get torn up in it. But
so for clarification, there's 2 different view. So there's view duration, which is like the amount of time watched, and then there's like the percentage of the video. What's the difference? Does one matter more than the other?
That's a great question. I look at the percentage total of the video. Like, did they watch 30%, 40%? And then I look at how long the video was, right? You get a 12-minute video. They're watching 30%. Let's try a 5-minute video and see if we can make that 60%.
Yeah. So I upload a podcast episode, for example, that's an hour, and I get 12 minutes of average watch time. The percentage of the video is not great, but the amount of time is.
Yes. And look, I used to do hour-long content, and I enjoy hour-long content. What I found is that for my demographic, busy CEOs and entrepreneurs, and again, my viewers are not 7-figure, 8-figure viewers, guys. That's 1% of my viewing audience. My viewers are, it's a lot of real estate agents, but they're typically business professionals and YouTube creators, right? So it's, again, my dartboard is, I know that if I do a video about real estate, I'll get maybe 5,000 views on it. If I do a video about a general trending YouTube tip, I'll get 40,000 views on it. And so I have to balance between like, am I doing a message that's just vague, but it gets views? Or am I doing a message that establishes like authority with people that I'm trying to get into my program? This goes back to that balance, that press pulse idea where it's like, we try to do one video a month that goes mega viral, and we try to do 2 videos a month that really establish who we are and bring buyers into the program. And one of those is a live stream. Live stream is a great way to bring in clients. In fact, we had a client who she does well. She's doing like, she did the best bars, best burgers in Prosper, Texas. But then she did one live stream. She's like, I need more leads. Let's try a live stream. Her very first live stream was terrible. She filmed it with an iPhone at a pool, but when she's looking at the pool, you guys have all been in cool places at night, and then you pick your phone up, and it's like the phone does not capture it at all.
Like a sunset, right? Or the moon or something. Yeah.
The moon. Yeah, totally. Like a cityscape, you know? So they pull out this phone thinking this beautiful pool will be behind them. But all you see is the pool in 2 dark shadows, her and her daughter talking about real estate. Anyway, it was a terrible video. She came to the next call laughing about it. A week later, she gets a call from a guy who thought it was adorable, bought a house from her, sold his existing house, both luxury items, $40,000 in GCI for her. One live stream.
That's a successful live stream.
Yeah, and that's what we promote. Like, you may not get, 1 million subscribers, right? But like, you'll make money in the program, that's for sure.
Love it. Okay, I get asked this question more than anything else. Should you post shorts on the same channel as your long form?
Yeah, this whole idea of a shorts channel was like early shorts, and it was based on people who are teaching people who have millions of subscribers. So when Mr. Beast gives advice, he's talking to people with 1 million subscribers, right? Like when he's talking to Colin and Samir have 1 million subscribers. Mr. Beast is not talking to the new creator. And you guys have to be discerning, right? Like, who are you following into the fray, right? Now, I've only worked with business owners. I've only done YouTube strategy. It trickles into social, but like, I'm not a big like, post 3 times a week on social media, right? Like, you've seen my post, man. Like, I make one post on Facebook, gets 1,000 likes on it, right? Like, less or more is not better. It's like my good work. I'm doing good work. So you need to do what business owners do. And that's like number 1, content pillars. You got to have topic A and topic B that you can rotate between, adding in topic C and D. You asked me about shorts, though. Shorts should go on your channel. They should be a regular part of your process. And I would love to see you in a place where you're doing like 1 long form video a week and 2 shorts a week. But again, you can't crank that out unless you've built a conveyor belt. So consider that, right? Like I'll film 4 shorts before 1 gets published. And that's been very beneficial to me. My shorts on Instagram, first of all, 1 short for YouTube also goes Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. If you're not on TikTok, don't start a TikTok, right? If you're not on Facebook, don't start a Facebook, right? But your 1 short should go everywhere. It should go on the same channel. And your shorts should be an SEO strategy, not your long form. Your shorts should be like they could be definitive. Like, what is blah, blah, blah? Like if you're in St. Louis, like what is the Arc or the Arch, right? Like what is the Budweiser factory, right? Like you're kind of doing short what ifs and interest about your town. We have a client who's doing shorts on like she's in Alabama, and so it's like slave history in Alabama. Fascinating. 13,000 views the first time she tried it. She's like, it's not about real estate. Look, we'll get to stuff about real estate, but let's bring some people to the channel. So we did this video about like the oldest underground railroad thing in the country, and it's in her area, and she happens to be on the Historical Society. So that's like a great access for her. So yeah, you should be doing shorts. And for some of you, if long form intimidates you, just do all shorts right now. Shorts will get you to 1,000 subs if you do it like I'm talking about pretty damn quickly if you do it right.
Can you over post on YouTube? Like,
yes.
Okay, talk about that.
Yeah, more. For example, like if you don't give your video time to breathe, right? You do a video about this neighborhood versus that neighborhood. Like, do one of those a month, maybe two, but that's it. And then the next week, post something totally different, right? And that's why I say, like, even if it's like one long form and one short form, even 2 long form videos a month and 2 reels every week, right? It's like you got to find that schedule that makes sense to you where you're proud of each video that you're putting out, right? Like if it's like proud on a scale of 1 to 10, right? I'm 110. I'm 1 proud of this one, but I'm 10 proud of this other one. We did a video recently that we hated, and I was like, just scratch it. Like, yes, I paid for it. Yes, I spent time on it, but it's terrible, and it's going to be a rock in my balloon. And I'd rather not post it than post a rock just so I could achieve some like in made up metric of I got to post once a week.
Right.
Right. So, post good content as often as you can make good content. Overposting, you can cannibalize your own videos, and the audience feels like they could never keep up with you. Right? A video with 117 views, and then you publish another video with 117 views. You don't want that. You want one video with 10,000 views. So let's channel all your energy into a better video.
How about shorts? Posting 1 short a day, too much?
Oh, I think it's way too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's way too much. Like, especially because you want to be cross-posting, right? It's like, if I put a short on YouTube, it also goes onto Instagram and Facebook, period. Now, I just told you guys, we're starting a TikTok next year. And I wanted some of the China news to die down because I went off TikTok politically, right? Like, I'm not giving China anymore. But my mentor, who's the biggest YouTuber in the game, is Mr. Beast's channel manager. It's more than that. Mr. Beast's mentor he was like, China's going to do what China's going to do, whether or not you're earning money on it. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a great point. I can be against the spy tools while at the same time creating a business that is changing lives across the country, right? So one short goes on multiple platforms, and even if it falls flat on YouTube, it might go viral on TikTok. So the name of the game today is eyeballs. How many eyeballs did you get on that content, right? Maybe YouTube, it fell at 1,000, but on TikTok, it went to 10,000. So you want to make sure that the content you're doing is valuable for the viewer without you're just posting for fun. Because at that point, you're posting for fun.
Okay. Even if you're posting shorts on Instagram and TikTok 7 days a week, you should be more selective of which ones you put on YouTube?
Definitely. And I believe in Instagram. We do a lot of business on Instagram as well. I could easily call myself an Instagram expert, I think. But I don't because I'm a YouTube expert, and I don't want to confuse people. But we do 1 reel a week on Instagram, and that reel gets right now 50,000 views. So I don't need to do 3 extras. You know what I'm saying? You get pretty good views on your stuff. Mm-hmm. I've seen, and I really like your stuff. It's good real estate content. So the question is it's like a teeter-totter. Where can you max out views with your time schedule and then just achieve that balance, knowing that I can get 100,000 views a week on these 5 platforms if I do this, right? If I go harder, I could get more, but now you got to ask yourself, is that the future? Is that the business I'm trying to build right now? Now, I'll say this, Dustin, most creators are not in that space, right? Most real estate agents are how do I get started? And so when it comes to how do I get started, it's let's start with the, coming up with 2 video titles and then filming those 2 videos. And then coming up with 5 shorts ideas and then filming those 5 shorts. And then it's planning and filming and build your conveyor belt. After you do that for a month, you've got maybe maybe you got like 4, 5, 6 videos. They're getting results. You're emailing them out to your list. You're telling people about them in your stories, and you're letting them get results. So now as we continue that plan out videos, film videos, now we're taking data. And it's like, hey, we did a video that got 1,000 views. Let's do that again. But this time, let's do one for January. And now you're actually building a name for yourself.
Excellent. Follow up to this, and you just mentioned it, sharing it to your database. I remember reaching out to you a while back asking this exact question because I've heard that you should never post your YouTube videos on social media. Now, the answer is nuanced, right? Can you explain why that? First off, is that accurate? And if so, like,
I actually believe that. I do not believe in repurposing as a full-on strategy. I believe that repurposing has value in training your team, in filling in the holes of vacation. You didn't film anything new, but you got this speech your team can work on. My producer is required to make 2 reels a month that he just makes off of trending audio and him grabbing clips. Like has zero, and he just did one, 50,000 views. So that puts me in a really good position where I can get 50,000 views doing nothing because I trained a guy, right? Mm-hmm. So when we're exploring, remind me of the topic again because I'm getting off track. You asked me about
sharing the video on social media. Your YouTube video specifically.
YouTube is your movie theater. Okay, so what you put on YouTube never goes onto Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. What goes on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook are trailers, teasers for that content. So this is a time for you to use repurposed clips. But honestly, guys, like the time it takes you to take your video, edit it, then give it to a VA who's going to stumble through the English trying to find a good clip for you to use, it is so much easier to film your video and then do a 35-second version for Reels. It's so much easier to do that. So do that. And let the numbers speak for themselves. So here's what I do on Facebook, and I'm good on Facebook, right? Like I'll do a video on big video this quarter was AI video script writer. So my posts on Facebook, first of all, it's not just one. It's like multiple posts over what I'll call the lifespan of the video. If the video flops, I'm just kind of like, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But if the video does well, I'll bring it up again on Facebook. So here's what I'll do. I'll post a picture of myself with a cyborg face, right? From whatever tool. My team does this for me, right? So it's like post a picture of Owen with a cyborg face and talk, and I'll write about AI. I'll be like, AI is, taking over the world, and we found a new script writing tool that is absolutely fantastic. For those of you guys that are making videos, I'd love to share the tool with you, but I'm not going to spam you with links. I did make a video. I'll be happy to send it. If you want to check it out, just ping me or just comment below. And then guess what? Like I'll get comments, man. I get comments. It's like, I'd love to see it, love to see it, love to see it. That's when I reply with a link to the video.
Okay.
Reply. And in your comments, you can reply in a DM. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to like blow up your comments with links. I've done a couple different things here. First of all, I'm driving traffic to the video. I'm not reposting the video. Right. 2 is I'm building value for the content, not promoting the fact that it's new. I see so much of you guys, new video, who cares? Yeah. Right? But you make a video about like great homes that are on MLS. Like you're not going to sell those homes. They'll maybe be sold by the time somebody actually watches the video. But the whole idea is that you're showing inventory, right? So on Facebook, you didn't then do a post that's like, which property, or you say a picture of your mom. And it's like, my mom always said that now is the best time to buy. Doesn't matter what insurance rates are. As long as you're acquiring assets, like they will pay for themselves. And this is why I got into real estate. I found this to be true. So I've started making a list of the best buys in my town. And if you would like to see the best buys, if you want to like be in a place where you're up to date on real estate and can make like savvy transactions, let me know in the comment section below and I'll send you a link, right? They comment below and you send them a link to the video.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, great. Check out this video and just let me know what your thoughts are.
So putting a link to the video in your Instagram stories, in the comments, in the DMs, sending traffic to your YouTube video from social is not a problem.
No, the general act of posting a link, but here's what you don't do. You don't post a link on Facebook.
Right.
Hey guys, here's my latest video. You don't promote the latest video. There's no value in that. You instead promote like this new software or whatever the topic is of the video. And look, I would so in my stories, I'm great with stories. I feel like it's a strength for me. I never just say, here's my new video and here's the link. What I do is I'll post a picture of me thinking and I'll put like, I was thinking ... And then on the next spot, the next picture will be something else. And I'll be like, what if you could do this or you could do that? And then the next picture is a shot of me, like maybe like looking at this and it's like text. So I started experimenting and I made a video on it right on the next page. Like I put the video link here. You know what I mean? Like,
so you're qualifying the viewers.
And you're using stories the way stories was made to be used, right? Whenever you billboard your video, like, everybody, I made a new video, here's the link, you're a spammer. You're also proving desperation right here. Like, you want to be in a place where you're like, think about what the news does, right? To catch a killer, right? Like, Joanna was found strangled to death in her apartment. No signs were found until now. Watch the story tonight at 11, right? Like, that's what you got to do for your videos. You just spent how many hours, 2-3 hours maybe, making a video about X. And then when you go to share that video on social, you kind of like wrapped it up in fast food packaging and like is like begging people to take it. Where what if instead you just took an extra 20 minutes and made the post on Facebook a good post? You want to know what good posts are? Go to my Facebook profile, not my business page, and look at my posts, right? We teach this in our program too. Like, we have templates. If you're going to share your video in your story, do it in a way that people like stories. This is like 3 to 5 different slides. If you're going to share it in a reel, do it in a way that makes a good reel. I had a client this morning repurposed his video into a reel, but didn't choose there's a lot of text on the screen from the video that overlapped the heart, the like, the comment, the title. So I couldn't even really, it's just like so chaotic. You know what I mean? So if you're going to repurpose your video into a reel, and there's good times to do this, do it in a way that still makes it a good reel. Right? And that's how you share. But never, 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 never is Hollywood going to put their video up on YouTube. Only like Angel Studios and independent studios do that. You got to think kind of like in that Hollywood model that's like, if you want my YouTube content, you got to go to YouTube. And if you subscribe, you'll get it there first.
Perfect. Well, we cannot talk about YouTube without talking about title and thumbnail selection. Could you walk through the process of choosing great titles and thumbnails? Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, these are the most important things in the beginning, correct?
Yes, 100%. And I hope you guys are enjoying this podcast.
Me too. I'm sure they are.
We are going into, like, this is turning into like, I feel like a very strong episode. So I want to ask you guys, if you're listening to this and you're enjoying this, if you would go to Instagram at Owen Video and follow me there. If you're, and you'll get YouTube links from my Instagram. Go to YouTube at Owen Video and follow my channel there. You'll see the videos I'm talking about. Plus, as we post there, we're sharing client stories and whatnot. But I want to ask you guys to do that if you're getting a lot of content out of this. So YouTube titles and thumbnails. Okay, so nobody selects your video. They select a picture of your video. Okay, when you go to YouTube, you log in and you see a bunch of what? Thumbnails with titles written on them. We call this your video listing. And you can take a bad video, put a great listing on it, a great title, a great thumbnail, and people will watch it. Okay. Similarly, you can have a great video and a poor listing and nobody will watch it. So when we come up with a video, we're going to make a video about blah, blah, blah. The next question is, what's the title and what's the thumbnail? That's it. The third question is, what's the video about? Okay. The fourth question is, what's the climax of the video? Right? So this is how we build out a video. Remember, I talked about there's only 2 skills. Build out a video, film that video. That's it. Plan a video, build it out, then go film it. You do those things, you'll make money on YouTube. So when you come up with a video idea, you're coming up with that video idea like as a title and a thumbnail first. So for example, Follow Up Boss and what I would do if you were a client is you come to me and you say, I want to do a video about Follow Up Boss and Zillow. And I'd go, okay, well, what do you want to cover, right? And then what's the big takeaway? What's the moral of the story for you in that one? And you'll tell me and we'll go, okay, all right. And then we go, how about this? We do a video called Follow Up Boss Gives Me the Finger. And we kind of take it that way. I go, Dustin, what do you think? And you go, okay, well, you hit me back with the different title. And you go, well, I want to do a video that's more like Follow Up Boss Acquires Zoom or whatever it was. Zillow acquires Follow Up Boss. Okay. And then what we're doing is we're kind of coming up with a title and a thumbnail together, a collaborative way. So it's like you and your VA, you and your team, whoever it is. And you're coming up with those ideas first. So you're already thinking in terms of how this would be delivered to the viewer. The title, the thumbnail, and the first thing you say on camera is called your hook. Now, most of you guys are used to a hook as like the opening statement, but the hook is really the psychological drive that causes the viewer to say, I want to watch this. So you're thinking of what's my hook? Well, Zillow acquires Follow Up Boss. Everyone's doing that. So how can I have a different perspective? You know, and again, I'm going like Follow Up Boss gives me the finger. Maybe it's something different. Maybe it's just like, will Follow Up Boss recover? How about another video title that's like Zillow? Okay, check this out. Zillow strikes again - acquires Follow Up Boss is the title. The thumbnail is Godzilla, Mecha Godzilla, like with the laser eyes, or no, it's the fire breath. Godzilla fire breathing on Tokyo, and you put the logo symbol on the Zillow logo on Godzilla, and then on the town you put real estate agents and just point to, so it's like, that's your thumbnail, that's your title, let's make the video.
I am so doing this. I am so creating this video. We just laid it all out.
Yeah, right? Like 10,000 views. And it took us, guys, now I'm an expert, I get it, but you'll learn this skill, guys. It took us 3 minutes to come up with that title. That's how you do it. Like, I want to make a video about X. What about this title? What about that title? What about this one? You pick one, you go, right? Hey, that title didn't do well. Well, you learn, don't do that title again. Check that off the list, right? That when a video doesn't do well, it's just one of your 10,000, right? Like Edison, right? He had 10,000 versions of the light bulb that failed until he made the one, right? Only the hardest-headed, most stubborn real estate agent will have to make that many videos. But when you make a video that tanks, it's like, don't do that anymore, right? I've got a client right now, I won't say any names. They did a video our way, 1,000 views out of the gates first day. Brand new channel is where we want it. But then after that, they went immediately back to their old model. And 117 views. And I go, why did you do that? Well, we want 3 videos a week. Why? 1 video at 1,000. Like, so 2 videos at 1,100? Like, does that make sense? When you have a video that has 117 views, you are telling everyone publicly that you can't get views on videos. So when you do something that works, you do it again and you don't publish anything else in between. You see what I'm saying? So that's the thing, is like looking at results. Like if you sell the wife, right? You're a real estate agent and it's like, man, the wife just like, then get in front of more wives. You don't go, well, I'm going to build my husband demographic. Terrible idea.
Great point. Great point. I love the idea. So what you just taught me there is the thumbnail doesn't need words on it necessarily, right? And that's a great reminder.
It doesn't.
Yeah. I think that we get caught up in that.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, and we have 7 templates that we teach, right? Like the first assignment for a client is remake these 7 templates in Canva or Photoshop, whatever. And have them ready, because these are like top performing thumbnails. They change every year, every couple of months maybe, but like things trend on YouTube, right? One of the big trends right now is scenic thumbnails. So it's not looking at the camera. You're looking off to the side, but then off to the side is something happening somewhere else. So it's not my computer. It's not an icon here. It's like a whole different thing. The Godzilla one I just gave you is not a template. I just came up with that one. And I think it's pretty good. That's what your gut content is. You want to get to this place where you can come up with a video topic that your audience would like, and you can create a DVD cover for it. Remember when a Blockbuster back in the day, like, I don't know how many of you guys can relate to this, but like I would cruise Blockbuster Friday nights, man, like
with the 40 different copies of the new releases.
40 different, yeah. And what are you picking? You're not actually picking the movie. You're picking the box of the movie.
Yep.
So you're going to do a video about home prices in Omaha. On its head, it's a snoozer. So how do you add seasoning to that, right? Like Omaha residents, Omaha homeowners learning new tax loophole. And it's like you come up with sort of like a thumbnail idea. I'm going to just skip that for now. But like you're coming up with a title, a thumbnail idea, and then in your hook, your opening statement, you're like, how do I take what I just said in the title and then parlay that into my video content, like the thing I want to cover in the video? That's the art of the video. People say, oh, well, what does that have to do? Right? Like tax loophole. Well, that's up to you, pal. Right? Like we come up with a good title. This is not a bait and switch. Okay. A bait and switch is a picture of a girl in a bikini. And like, meet hot girls for free. And then they click on it and it's a long distance commercial. Okay. That's clickbait. Clickbait is when they clicked on one thing and got something else. A good video title and thumbnail is when you bring them in on an interesting hook and then connect it to your business, right? So, you do this title that's like interesting loophole, and you simply, you go, hey, like there's this tax loophole. I'm not sure if you knew about it. I'm going to tell you about it in a little bit, but first, let me help you understand the lay of the land. So here's what's happening in Omaha. Right? Now there's this trick, and the trick is you can actually write off your home if you are working in it. Now, would you agree that's a pretty lame tip?
For some.
For some, right? It's like, oh man, I knew that. But they had to watch for 3 minutes before they got to it. Okay? So again, your idea is to find the tax loophole and make it interesting. Right? I would maybe go with hire your kids as employees, right? So, but did you know, and you don't even need to be a homeowner too, but you write off your kids, you can do up to $12,000 a year. And it's an interesting tax loophole that helps them in their way. Does that make sense?
1,000%.
I don't want to feel like we're trying to scam viewers. What we're trying to do is we're taking a topic and we're finding the most interesting way that we can present that to the audience. And a good YouTuber will be able to take that same topic and cover it from multiple different angles in multiple videos and engage the audience for a year. My good friend Christina Smallhorn has done this. She started talking about tiny homes. And this is what our program teaches, is that you take this topic, tiny homes, and you build 5 topics around it, right? Like tiny homes, like exposed, are these actual quality materials. The most expensive tiny homes is another video. Another video, it's like tiny homes you could buy on Amazon, tiny homes you can buy in Home Depot. That's like 4 videos now. So we take this topic that you want to be an expert in. And by the way, she stumbled into that. She just did a video on tiny homes, 1 million views. And then from that, she built a silo out of it. And to this day, it gets views. Another silo she builds is market updates, but it's never like market update June 2023, right? It's always like market update reveals new opportunities, or cooling housing market, a warning sign for these industries.
Makes it a little bit more evergreen and not so date specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And evergreen's a dirty word here. Like if you can't get their views today, how are you going to get it next year? Right? Like you want to have a good mix between like trending, like what's happening right now, right? There's an election right now. Does this have room in your content? It's not true for everybody. But like other industries, like you'll have an event like NAB in Las Vegas, right? It's like tech. Maybe I called it the wrong name, but there's this big tech, massive. What's another one? South by Southwest in Austin. For some industries, those events are big enough to make content off of it when that season rolls around every year, right? For some of us, like it might be just seasonal, like Easter time, when Easter's coming up, or how about this? Winter time, right? Like not a lot of people buy in the holiday season. So let's make videos about like how to scope out great investments and buy them next year.
Hell yeah.
Like that's content I think is relevant now, but I'd still watch it in February.
Right. Great point. One last question, and then something we do with every guest is we do these rapid fire questions, which are either or. You're just going to pick one or the other. We'll wrap it up after that with you letting everyone know where they can find you, hear more about you, connect with you, work with you, all that good stuff. So the question is now slipping my mind. It'll come back. It
will. And I'll tell you,
it's
it's so funny, like rapid fire. It's like, shoot, I have so much to say, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to rapid fire. And I want you guys to know, like you guys
questions.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, you guys that are listening to this, you guys can just write me and ask me your questions, right? Like if there's a need or an opportunity for us to discuss my program, we'll do that. But I don't want you guys to feel like I'm this like untouchable guy. Very to the opposite. Like I was just in Las Vegas at a real estate event for a brokerage similar to your brokerage. And I love the model. I really love where companies like this are taking real estate. And I spent, like the other speakers, they kind of go and they kind of like go to get drinks afterwards. Like I love to put my elbows on the table and like talk to you guys about your channels, and see what's going on. I really love digging into the strategy of it. So I want to just encourage you guys to like, let me be a part of your daily social media by just following me on Instagram and YouTube, checking in once a week, seeing what we're doing, because we believe, listen to this. We believe that what's happening with foreign nations and billionaires buying up all of our real estate so that we will own nothing and be happy about it is a travesty. We are against it. We stand opposed to it. And we see you real estate agents as the foot soldiers in reclaiming the American dream for our people. So like it goes way beyond selling houses. It's like, let's get these houses in the hands of real people who need to start creating wealth for their family. So that's part of where my passion comes from.
And I need to applaud what you are masterful, like any great YouTuber would, at inserting calls to action in the conversation, right? And I know that for you it's second nature now, but I see it, I notice it. It's something that I'm conscious of because I need to get better at. Very well done. Like that was a masterclass in and of itself. Not to discredit anything you're saying, but it's just very, very, very well done. I remembered my question.
Yes.
If someone has been doing YouTube poorly or intermittently, just kind of like, they're there. My channel, for example, I think I have like 2,300 subscribers or something like that.
Great. Cool.
decent, right? Like, okay.
The base. You have a
Yeah.
base.
Does it make sense to start over or just start doing the right
No.
shit moving forward?
Yeah, just start doing the right stuff now, man. It's like, okay, we've all done this before.
Mhm.
You buy an exercise bike and you put it in your house and you do it, you do it twice and you're like, oh, I shouldn't do this. I should get like a mega gym set, right? It's like you're throwing bad money after, or you throw the baby out with the bathwater. Yeah, your channel 2300 already has data on it. So I would start doing the right things. And I would eliminate this, like, we were talking about this kind of like before we started, is like, oh, I need to get into like one video a week or like 2 short. Like, no, right now, just upload a video that gets 1,000 views. That's it. Let's do that first. And then let's try to duplicate that, right? Okay, we've duplicated that. Now let's try to 3x that. This is how I built. I built my company the same way, right? Like, we got this much in revenue this year. Let's duplicate that next year. And I did that for too many years. Now I'm very much into 3xing and 5xing and setting bigger goals. But that's the type of sort of like, it's not about more videos or a publication schedule. A publication schedule is based on a conveyor belt that can crank out videos at a low cost or close to it, right? If you can't do that, if it takes you a month to get one video on the web and it was a pain in the ass for you, like 2 times a week's never going to happen.
Right.
So let's make one video that you're proud of and let's get that on the web. And then while that's on the web, let's come up with 5 videos for your lead gen program, okay? And these don't have to be viral. These will actually go into like an email series and may even be run as Facebook ads. That's a whole different story. But like, we made a video that we love and that we're proud of, and we're letting that get response. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create like 5 videos that are designed to generate leads. And those don't need to go viral. They just need to be public on the YouTube channel. So when somebody finds your big video and they go back and they see these 5 videos that don't have any views, they have 12 views, they don't care. They get it. It's not 10 years ago, guys. It's okay to have a video with no views, so long as that video was made for a purpose, right? These 5 videos were made to get my viewers into a funnel, right? And we have a whole outline for that. So then maybe month 2, let's do 2 videos, right? And we're creating a strategy that's executable, but it's actually moving the needle. I want to remind you again, 1 video a week from me gets 50,000 views. So I don't need 2 a week. You know what I mean? And like, that's where I want you guys to be. I want you guys to be in this place where you're like, you're publishing enough to keep your audience wanting more, but also to maintain a standard that you've set, right? Like, I'm sure in your Instagram, you're like somewhat aware of like how many views per week you're getting. It's like, I want to maintain those views per week, but I want to work less. How do I do that, right? Like that, we can go into those sort of things, but it's like, I want to double my views on Instagram. Well, you either need videos that are twice as good, or you need videos that respond to a bigger audience, or you need to do 2 videos of the same quality and hope the audience reacts identically. This is, I think, what I love about being a business creator is like, we look at numbers, we make plans, we execute, and I've been blessed to have a, what do you call it, like a green thumb for YouTube. Like, I know what video you need to make to blow up. In fact, client uploaded a video and they labeled it wrong. It's like, how are you still labeling them like this? I changed the title right then and there. She had 13 views on the video. This is the client who got 13,000 views a month ago. And she just got sloppy. You just get lazy. I need a video up. So she just kind of slapped it up. 17 views on it. I changed the title. Boom, 700 views in an hour.
Damn.
Yeah. And I've got multiple stories. I have another client who's a blue collar guy. He teaches roofers. I mentioned him earlier. He's a great guy. Really good at this, but it's the titling they get wrong. So it's like, they made a video, 300 views, and my standard is 1,000. So I went in there and changed the title, and immediately 900 views within the hour. That's how important a good title is. So like, how do you get to this play? Like, oh, and how did you know to title it that? I didn't. I just looked at it and I go, let me try this. That's where you guys will get. But if you just upload crap all the time, you'll never learn. Right.
Good point. Owen, let's, I appreciate this. This is, I believe, the longest Massive Agent podcast episode to date, and for good reason.
Woo! Yes.
It's fucking awesome. But we got to wrap it up at some point. My wife is texting me more than 5 times. So I got to go do something.
I love it. I love that you gave me that precedent. And my chat is blowing up over here, but still I enjoyed every minute of it.
Let's go to the rapid fire questions. Then tell everyone afterwards where they can find you, connect with you, and all that good stuff. So either or questions. You don't need to elaborate. We'll just blow through these. Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
Facebook or TikTok?
TikTok.
TikTok or YouTube?
YouTube.
The softball question of the century. Books.
It's a good one, though.
Yes. See, I ask these of everybody. Books or podcast?
Books. I love.
Okay. Books or audio?
Audiobooks. So like, there's audiobooks.
Yeah. Audio. Exactly. Audiobooks or books? You prefer audio?
There's books I like to read physically, and it's typically the books that they'll take away from us, like Think and Grow Rich. I have a physical copy. 21 Laws of Leadership, physical copy. Traction, physical copy. But I'm also reading like Grant Cardone's book on objection handling. That's an audiobook for sure, right? So I definitely have a strategy for everything I do, and choosing books is one of them.
Rental property or flipping?
Flip.
Okay. Burgers or pizza?
Pizza 100%.
All right. New York or LA?
I eat neither. Ooh, LA, born and raised, buddy.
Oh, no shit. Okay. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that.
Yeah.
Baseball or football?
Basketball.
Okay. College or pro?
If I had to choose, though, I would choose baseball out of those two. College or pro, I'm really starting to get into college right now. First time.
Yeah. There's something different about college. I don't know. It's
raw and real about college, where I feel like anyway, whole thing there. Yeah, there's a whole thing.
Totally. Mountains or beach?
Mountains for sure. Born and raised on the beach. I'm in the mountains now.
Hell yes. Okay. YouTube or Facebook Live?
Man, Facebook Live is stupid.
In a good way or bad way?
Bad way.
Okay.
So, like 3 years ago, Facebook Live was a thing.
Right.
But now it's kind of like, it's like fax machine or email.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't waste your time on Facebook Live.
Unless you're opening clams or blankets.
There's a whole thing there. Like, I could see you have a Facebook group. You go live there once a week, like course material, right?
Yes.
But most people don't have that, and courses are dumb. So like high ticket products, you know what I mean? Like, and stick where the big boys are. Like, you'll never get better on Facebook Live. YouTube, only the strong survive. So you'll become a better professional on YouTube.
Okay. That makes sense. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Millionaire Real Estate Agent?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, foundational, fundamental.
Absolutely. Uber or Lyft?
Uber.
Gary V or Grant Cardone?
Gary V, definitely.
Dave Ramsey. Okay, YouTube. I got a comment from someone, from a listener, who said, "Hey, you add some more questions. How about Dave Ramsey or Robert Kiyosaki?" Brilliant question. I'm adding it. Thanks to them.
If you ever say the name Dave Ramsey to me again, I will hang up this phone.
We're done.
We had a whole course today with 2 clients that were like, "You should make anti-Dave Ramsey." Like, Dave Ramsey is great. How to Be Broke Forever by Dave Ramsey. So no, I think Dave Ramsey's probably a great guy in his real life, but like, ugh.
Yeah. Dude, I went through the whole Financial Peace University. It's great for certain people at specific times, but it's also rooted in scarcity.
Yes, 100% yes, and that's exactly why. We did too. I went through FPU with my wife. It taught us a bunch of stuff, but it's like I couldn't imagine living that for 30 more years.
Oh, God, no.
That was like a foundation. I should have learned that in high school. Honestly, we should have all been taught that stuff in high school.
Agreed. Oh, and where's the best place to connect with you, learn more about your programs, how to work with you, how to hire you, all that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So Instagram at Owen Video. If you want to know about my program, be a man and just reach out to me, or an alpha leader for you females out there. Like, You know, I'll give you the link to my website if you want to check it out. But like, I'd rather you say, Owen, hey, I'm raising my hand. I think I can excel in this. I'm looking for people that are willing to stand up and say, like, I'm ready. So Instagram is the best place. Why? Because the messaging feature there is fantastic. So reach out to me on Instagram at Owen Video. If you want to just check stuff out, go to acceleratusmedia.com. That's acceleratusmedia.com. If you can't spell it, just go to owenvideo.com and check out my website. There are links to my YouTube channel there. You guys might go, well, why didn't you introduce me to your YouTube channel? Because most of you are probably not using YouTube every day, and that's okay. So go to where you go, find me there, and either just check out the content and check it out. We do workshops every month. We have real estate specific training. And we've got live events that we do that are designed to not just teach you how to be a professional, but like through media techniques, but also you film videos there with us. So you walk away with video, and it's just a model that we love. So owenvideo.com, everywhere on the web at Owen Video. And I definitely would love to hear from you. If you're listening to this and you're like, man, I could do this. I like this guy. Hit me up. I'd love to talk to you.
Oh, and I can't thank you enough. This has been awesome. I'm excited to talk more and do some stuff together because I think we could do some cool shit together. Thank you so much. Congratulations to you for listening all the way through to the end. Hopefully you have all your questions answered because I asked every question that possibly came to my mind and then some. And Owen did such a great job of diving deep into context. That's a very nice way of saying he delivered. That dude can talk, but he knows his shit. And like you saw, he knows how to insert calls to action in the conversation that feels natural, which is what makes a great YouTuber. Obviously, he has years and years and years of practice. So really excited to be able to bring him to you guys today. I learned a lot from him. I asked a lot of questions from a selfish point of view, knowing that they would serve you as well. But I mean, I need to get my YouTube game in order as well, because I just haven't taken it as seriously as I should. And I asked him before we even started recording, I was like, dude, a lot of people think it's too late for YouTube, that it's too late to get started. And he laughed. He's like, there's never been a better time. It's never too late. There's never been a better time. It's such a, like, sure, it'd be great if you started 3 years ago, but you didn't. So get started today. It's the same conversation about, should you invest in real estate? Should you buy a home? You're telling your clients the best time to buy was 20 years ago and today. It's the same fucking thing with YouTube. So it's still an amazing opportunity. So I am extremely excited. I hope you are as well. I hope you have more clarity about what to do. Make sure that you go follow Owen Video on Instagram. Go follow Owen Video, or subscribe rather to Owen Video on YouTube. Go see what he's doing. Emulate it, copy it, and when you can, work with him, hire him, join his programs, because he is the real deal. He has trained and coached and taught a lot of the people who are training and coaching agents on YouTube. It's just what it is. So he knows his stuff. Thank you for listening. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with another agent and help us to spread the word. We'll be back next week with another awesome episode of the Massive Agent Podcast. Thank you so much. See ya.